are now live, it looks like. Let me refresh here, make sure everybody can see it. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Starting soon. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brian with Beers and Fears, and today for our Google Hangout, we have the one and only Jim O'Rear. Jim, how you doing, buddy?
I am good. I know nothing about technology, so I'm assuming I'm doing this correctly.
You are. You're doing it perfectly. It's like you knew what you were doing the entire time, so it's fine.
Good.
Real quick, everybody who is starting to come in, and I see that we are now streaming perfectly live on YouTube. If you guys have questions, feel free to post it on the YouTube page. You can leave it on the events page on Facebook as well. Some of you like to email, I noticed, so you can do that as well. Please don't do any other social networks because I'm not going to go out there and look for them. So I gave you enough options, people. Just ask your questions there. So, Jim, I'm going to jump right in to your latest film that we discussed, and I watched the trailer for recently, more than once, actually, and I am so excited for this. Don't Look in the Basement 2. You want to give us a little rundown on exactly what this is all about? Obviously, it's a sequel, 40 years later, and
exactly.
Just kind of tell us why is this now coming up. I'm excited, man. This looks great.
Cool. Well, yeah, Don't Look in the Basement 2 is a sequel to Don't Look in the Basement. It's a direct sequel also. I mean, it takes off exactly 40 years after the original story, and it's been 40 years since the first movie. So it is a direct sequel. It's filmed in the same location the original was filmed in. It is directed by the son of the director of the original movie, and has several cast members from the original movie linked to it as well as the daughter of the star of the first film is in it. So it's really cool. I mean, it's a really neat tie-in and direct sequel to the original. And the original has a ton of followers. I mean, it was one of the original video nasties that people tried to ban. I think it was the first horror film that got an X rating just for violence and content and tone. So the first one broke a lot of barriers. The second one takes on a little different tone. Sam was the star of the first film, was the lead of the first film, and the sequel takes 40 years later when he's brought back to the insane asylum, and the craziness starts happening again. And it's really good. It also has Scott Tepperman from Ghost Hunters International and the hospital, and Fat Chance in it. He and I are kind of the comic relief of the horror film. We're the guys that know what's going on in the asylum, and no one wants to believe us because we're numbskulls. But it's I think it's going to be a really good film. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you need to look at the trailer because it looks really awesome.
Speaking of trailer, I'm going to post that for everybody here in a minute. Who did the trailer? Do you have your hand on the editing as well, or who did that? Because it was amazing.
Yeah, no, actually, I was just hired on, to perform, and the trailer was put together by the director Anthony Brownrigg. He also wrote the music that's in the trailer, recorded the music, played the music, sang the song.
Wow.
So he's kind of the whole visionary, everything, the entire movie, trailer, everything.
That's amazing. So that was actually going to be my next question, because I really thoroughly enjoyed the trailer music. So he wrote and directed. Made the music and recorded it and everything. Huh? That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a super talented guy.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think with that trailer, and if it's anything like that, is he doing the score? I take it in for the entire film.
I'm sure he's going to do a lot of it. I don't know if he'll do all of it, but I'm sure he'll do a lot of it. That's just the way that he is. I don't think he ever sleeps. He just pounds out creative stuff.
Fantastic. So, what made you guys decide to do this particular film, with especially with tons of films that came out in that era, and in saying that came out in what 73, I believe it was. That era of horror movie. I mean, that was Last House on the Left era. We had that, just that really kind of creepy, pushing the boundaries that they possibly could. A lot with the whole rape thing was big back then. What made you decide out of all the films that you could choose from to pick Don't Look in the Basement 2?
Well, I know that Anthony had been approached by a lot of different filmmakers and a lot of different companies that wanted basically to remake his dad's film.
Okay.
And the original has gone through a lot of hands from what I understand, for people that wanted to do remakes and wanted to do sequels. And they all just kept falling through and falling through and falling through. So Anthony decided, well, screw this. I got an idea for a sequel, and it was my dad's movie, and I'd like to do my dad proud. And
Right.
So he said that the time is now, and apparently the timing was right. A couple producers came on board. They were just awesome producers, awesome crew and everything, and they gathered the cast together and crew, and we shot it. It was shot in over a period of 4 weeks, and
Wow.
everybody, everybody pretty much lived there on property. It all takes place there on property at the insane asylum, and we all lived there, stayed there, ate there. It was, kind of a cult for a month.
Right. Wow, you said 4 weeks. Is that right?
Yep, 4 weeks.
Gosh, you guys pumped that out. That's amazing time frame. So obviously around the clock exhaustion. Was there any? This is one thing I love to ask, especially on horror films. They're really fun to be on set, and you guys, you're a very lighthearted man as well from previous conversations. I like to have fun. So any particular fun little story you want to share with us about some crazy possible night where something might have happened or went wrong that you can share that won't give anything away, obviously. So.
Yeah. There's tons of craziness. I mean, Anthony is he's just got a really crazy, odd sense of humor anyway. And it was a laugh riot the entire time, even though we're doing this very serious subject matter and all. It was a laugh riot. I don't know if it'll end up on the extras on the DVD or Blu-ray or not, but for whatever reason, I don't know why, almost every movie that I'm in, just about every movie that I'm in, my bare ass ends up on screen somehow for whatever reason. And my bare ass was not written into this movie for a change. So there is a scene where I had to mess with, and actually it was the producer's idea kind of talked me into it. There's a scene where Scott Tepperman and I are called. We're up on the third floor, and we're called down to the lobby, and we both, and I think it's in the trailer too. We both run to the ledge and we look over to see what's going on downstairs. So on the first take, when we looked over, Scott looked over, and so did my bare ass next to him. And that kind of stopped filming for just a little while when everybody put themselves back together. But yeah, it was a close-up shot of my ass, courtesy of a producer on the film. So.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. All right, everybody, keep your questions. Actually got some emails with some good questions. I'll be asking here shortly. Right off the bat, though, let's talk about Fat Chance as well. I know we'll come back to Hospital and as well, because I really want to talk about that. And I'm looking at your IMDb right now, and holy moly, brother, you got a lot going on in the next, what looks like in the next 2 years. Holy moly. Anyhow, Fat Chance. Let's jump into that real quick. I know that that has played recently in Sacramento at, I believe it was Twisted Terror, and I know you're having one more night of that playing, and then it'll be available to everybody. Why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown on what that film's all about?
Yeah, Fat Chance is it's a horror comedy made like the old drive-in type 70s, early 80s things like Meatballs and stuff like that. And it's basically the plot can best be described as The Biggest Loser meets Friday the 13th. It's about these 10 fat guys that are taken out to a weight loss camp in the woods and to be on this reality TV show to win $1 million. And a killer starts picking them off one by one in various humorous ways. And you kind of have to figure out, who's going to survive, who is doing the killing, what's going on. But it's very much in the style of, like Meatballs style humor.
Awesome.
And it was a film that Daniel Ray Taylor and I directed together. Daniel wrote it, and I guess he's best known as the little boy from the Swamp Thing movies, or Return of the Swamp Thing.
Yes.
So he wrote it, and we co-directed it, co-produced it, and Scott Tepperman was involved in that also. Was a producer on it, and it's just a whole lot of fun. It's just when people watch it, it's nonstop laughter pretty much. And we do have one more screening of it scheduled at Creative Con in Panama City, Florida in September, I believe. We're doing one more public screening of it. And after that, it'll be on video and Blu-ray and video on demand and all that craziness. Hopefully later this year. We don't have a definite release date on it yet, but we're looking later this year on it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I got a chance to sneak in a little bit during the craziness here in SAC to see pieces of that. I haven't been able to watch the full thing, but it definitely, I think you nailed it right on dot. It has that whole Meatballs. Yeah, it's right up there because it's just, I love horror comedies, and they're becoming more and more something that's almost normal now in the horror realm. They're really trying to push the horror comedies again, I noticed, and this one I definitely think ranks up there with some of the ones that I watched recently as well. I can't wait to see this on DVD and Blu-ray, especially Blu-ray, man. I hope you guys are going to have some really fun features on that, because that movie, for what I saw, was pretty damn funny. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we've got a disc full of extras.
Oh, yes. That's what I like to hear, extras. And, of course, the Jim over your ass, apparently, right? So, all right, let's see here. Got a question for you, actually. We're going to jump right in because I think this is a really good one. I know it's a little early, guys, but thank you for the email. Jim, they are asking here, let me pull this up. What made you go ahead and switch from doing the magician stuff that you had originally started with and going into the direction of acting and stuntman? So what made you do the switch? And if people didn't know, Jim, on your website, you're saying that you started with being a magician and actually opened up for David Copperfield at times as well. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have lost him. Jamie with us?